What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is part of a series where I focus on a specific director and rank that director's work from worst to best. Done such directors in the past such as Wes Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson, Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, and many more. You guys can check out those directors and there's many more in my director playlist down below. But guys, clicked on this video so you know this time around I'm focusing on Todd Field films and ranking them from worst to best. Now, I am filming this video in May of 2024, and as of said month and year, he has done 3 feature-length films, so I'll be ranking them from 3 being his worst to 1 being his best, and of course, my humble opinion. So this will not include any roles that he took as an actor, because yes, he did start out originally as an actor. It will also not include any short films, music videos, video games, TV shows, none of that. Just specifically speaking, feature-length films. And as of filming this video, I forgot to also mention, he did say that his latest entry, Tar, will probably be his final film that he will retire from directing. So if that is the case, again, he will have only done 3 films, but I want to talk about him as a director. So I'll be ranking his work, 3 being his worst, 1 being his best, and of course my humble opinion. So guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, we have number 3 is In the Bedroom. In the Bedroom is a really good film. It actually got nominated for Best Picture, and deservingly so. This is a really, really well-crafted film. I don't know a physical media copy because as of the filming of this video, it is only on DVD. And at my local record store, I just haven't seen the DVD at all, so I haven't picked it up. But this is a really good film. It is a searing drama with great performances, really good cinematography, and an unforgettable ending. This is definitely a film that will stick with you. And again, I feel bad saying that this is his quote-unquote worst film, but it just goes to show how great of a director he is, because his third ranking film is the one that I'm still saying is really, really good. So, yeah, In the Bedroom, it's my number 3. Again, highly recommended, and yeah, it's my number 3. Next up, my number 2, we have Tar. So Tar is an excellent film. It's funny, though, because when I saw it in theaters the first time, I thought it was just okay. But I also don't know if just I wasn't in the right headspace when I watched it the first time, because I was under a lot of stress. Like, I watched Tar for the first time in theaters a couple days before I got married. So I was, like, really nervous, really stressed out. So I feel like maybe an art house film that requires a lot of thinking just wasn't the best choice to watch, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be coming back in theaters anytime soon, so I was like, you know what, let me watch this. And a couple months later, I ended up seeing it again in theaters, and it was like experiencing a totally different film, because the second viewing, I was like, holy cow, this is a really, really good film. I suspected that I was going to have to rewatch because I just wasn't in the right headspace, and I was glad that I realized I was right. This is a great film that is very heavy on visual storytelling, has an incredible performance played by Cate Blanchett. Like, Cate Blanchett as Tar is truly incredible. Love the cinematography. There's a lot of long takes, and in many cases, the camera movement reminds me a lot of like Stanley Kubrick, specifically in The Shining. I also love the sparse sound design. I think that that's something that's really good, and it works really well here. And I also think that the thematic richness of this film is something that also is just so good. It makes me want to revisit this film many more times, and I have seen it a total of 3 times. I did see it a third time on 4K, and I will say this, even if you're not a physical media collector, I would highly recommend picking this up on 4K, because it really, really works on 4K. So, really good film, and one of my favorite films of 2022. And again, if Todd Field, if this is truly his final film, what a way to go out. What a way to go out. This is a film that will be talked about for years on end. And honestly, I kept going back and forth if I was going to have this as my number 1. And who knows, maybe 5 years from now, I'll say to myself, how did you not have Tar as your number 1? Well, the answer is this. My number 1, I loved. It was actually the film that introduced me to Todd Field in terms of his directing. My number 1 is, you probably guessed it, Little Children. So I know what you're thinking. Chad, why is it you own 2 copies of Little Children? And if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that this is where I keep my DVDs. And you'll probably notice out of the corner of your eye, wait a minute, he has 2 DVDs of Little Children? The story behind it is this. When I went to the record store, which, by the way, for years I was trying to pick this up on DVD at my local record store, but because I couldn't really find it, it was like really expensive online. But anyways, I finally saw that there was a copy of Little Children on DVD at the record store. So I opened it up, and when I opened it up, it turned out there was actually 2 cover arts and 2 DVDs. So I was like, holy cow. So I just I slipped it back in, put the DVD back in, and then I had an extra copy of a DVD slipcase. So I just put the cover art, put the DVD in that, and yeah, now I have 2 DVDs to choose from. So if one for some reason stops working. I had the other one. But anyways, you guys click on this video, not for me to talk about the DVD, the film itself. Little Children is an excellent film. I think that what I love most about it is that it takes the concept of American Beauty, suburban angst, characters with a morally gray compass, sexuality, repression, Thomas Newman's score. It takes all of those elements and it makes for a surprisingly seedy film that I think is just so clever. I know it's based on a book, but Todd Field, his directing here is just truly phenomenal. It's on another level. This is also a film that, of his 3 films that he directed, this one did get nominated for three Oscars for Kate Winslet, Jackie Earle Haley, and then Best Adapted Screenplay. I would have personally nominated it for Best Picture. I do think it's a shame that it didn't get nominated for Best Picture because, again, it is a great film. But it's also one of those films that it makes you really think. Like, every time I watch this film, days on end, I'm like thinking about the film. I'm like, wow, that was a film that was like really, really well done. And I actually watched it a couple days ago in preparation for this to kind of solidify that it was my number one. And whilst I can see why some people might make the argument that on a technical level, Tar is the better film, I think that emotionally and filmmaking wise, this film speaks to me a tad more. But again, these 2 films were batting let out. They're both excellent films that I genuinely love. Like, this is one of my favorite films of 2006. Tar was one of my favorite films of 2022. So either way, I can 100% respect and understand whatever order you as a viewer has for these 3 films. I totally get it because that's what's great about these 3 films. They are all really, really well done. And again, that's my ranking. I do try to talk about the director a little bit afterwards. And I'll say this about Todd Field. I have so much respect for him as a director. I think that it's great that each film of his is focusing on a different story, whilst at the same time he tries to put his directing style onto those stories with what it needs. And I think that that's something I really appreciated because something like Tar requires a lot of lengthy, long takes to really showcase Lydia Tarr and her ability to, compose music. Versus Little Children, a lot of the shots are, the camera works forward movement. It's not as long or takes, and it's like because it's a suburban lifestyle that's focusing on many, many different characters instead of just one. So I really appreciate that Todd Field, his style works so well with each film with what it requires. And I also think that with Thomas Newman, I love that he works together with him. I do think that I kind of wish that Tar did have a Thomas Newman score, but I also understand why he didn't because it might not necessarily have worked. Who knows? We only would have known if that had happened. But either way, I really greatly respect Todd Field. If he does actually make a 4th film, I'll be there day one. He is 3 for 3 in my book. I think that he's a very, very talented director. And also, if you've seen some of his performances, he is a good actor as well. He's in Eyes Wide Shut. He's a good actor. But as a director, truly phenomenal. So, guys, let me know your thoughts, though, in the comment section as to your ranking. I'm very, very curious to see what your rankings look like in the comment section below. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, comment on Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.